This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Oh, you know what? This is quite sad. It's exciting because there's a brand new book out, but we've just been informed that this is her last book. Help Me, Help My Teens, supporting teens through tough times. We absolutely adore this lady. It's the magnificent Maggie Dent. Maggie!
Hi, guys. So good to be back. Pleasure to have you here.
How do you decide that this is your last book? How dare you say that to us?
Yeah, no, I went right back to the beginning, right back to where I taught, where I counselled, and I thought, nah, I think I've done everything else. All the other books are out there that, you're going to see them forever. As I said to my boys, when I drop dead, I'm everywhere. Sorry about that.
Sorry, you won't leave.
But it felt right. And also, I'm an old wise woman that turns and says the next one's, it's their turn.
I think with your skill, Maggie, we all hang off every word. We're so keen to understand further because we're never, ever going to be more passionate about anything in our lives than our own kids.
That's exactly right. And we're all going to muck up. But once I think this is the big bit about this, is your teens are going to muck up because it's exactly what this age is about.
Yeah.
They're going to have bigger emotions than ever. They're going to get more forgetful. They're going to roll their eyes. And, you breathe wrong, don't you? You aren't there yet, Kate.
Yep.
We breathe wrong.
I'm getting pretty... it's getting pretty...
Tweens are already into
pretty close. Like, I can feel it in the
Kate,
house.
You're buckling yourself up at the moment, Kate, aren't you? You're getting on the roller coaster and you're about to go.
I like to say big emotions and lots of emotions.
More intense.
And very intense. And now I understand why my mother, bless my mum, she probably wasn't as understanding maybe as I will be, because I remember her yelling at me down the hallway saying, make sure you take your evening primrose oil, Kate.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I'm like, that's about as understanding as it got at some point.
And I just know that the number of times, not only in my teaching career and my counselling career, and also the endless number of boys that were in my house, that a quiet conversation I had that came from a genuine place of heart connection and concern can absolutely change the direction of a young teenager's life who's not hearing any positive messages. So it's not just for parents, it's for those who I call lighthouse figures, the significant adult allies. And that landed on me when I was doing bus duty one day really early on, before I did my breeding program. And the bus was late and there was a girl on the steps, and I just thought, she didn't look good. So I sat down next to her and just opened up a conversation. I didn't ask her how she was or what was going on, and we just had this chat, and I got her to laugh. And I talked about how crazy school is, where we think marks are everything. Never thought anything of it. I didn't teach her. And she came up to me at the end of the year and she had a beautiful card and a little gift, and she said, that conversation, I was planning to kill myself. That conversation turned my life. And that was when I realised we have enormous power with teens who are struggling, that we can say, look, it's really bumpy now, but you're going to get through this. We've all had this rocky road.
Yeah, I've got you.
But I've got your back.
I've got you, and I get it. But what is it about... Can I just say, one quick question, Fitz, is about parenting throughout that period. Because let's be honest, we might have teens in the house, but us as parents, we are people too, with things going on in our lives, and maybe our own mental health issues or problems at work, or relationships up and down, and stuff from our own childhood that is still unresolved. How do you kind of reach a place where you think, I kind of have to put aside what's going on for me to be there for the child during this period? How do you make peace with
Well, I think the big part is that you need to know the why. The why are those things happening? That's why the first part of the book is all the why. If you understand the brain changes, you understand the emotional changes, you understand their wire to take risks, you understand that their impulse control's been turned off. They don't want to be like that. No. And when we can go, okay, I get that. I wish I'd known that when I was that age as well. And yes, what happened to us definitely imprints the way that we turn up as our teens, for our teens. But my three things are, when really big stuff's happening, we know that they are dying by suicide over sometimes things you don't even know that's going on, and sometimes that's online trolling and that's sextortion. They don't come and tell us because they're so ashamed of what's going down. And we need to step forward because we never know when that last thing tips them over into a place they says,
of course.
I was that teen. I failed an essay, my first essay in my life, and I had such low self-esteem and self-worth, all sorts of reasons for that. I had never planned or thought of suicide, and I walked from when I got my essay to where I was boarding and tried to swallow a bottle of pills. That's how fragile the psyche can be. For I had it all going. I played sport. I was academic okay. I had friends. You look to the external of me, you would have thought she's going to be fine.
Did you feel comfortable talking to your parents though, Maggie?
Never did. They never knew about it. Kept it a secret. But it was that moment too when I was, vomited, fortunately, and it's snot everywhere. I suddenly realised, Jesus, look how easy it is to do something really dumb when you're 17 or 18. Yeah. That's when I decided to go and be a teacher. That's when I decided I wanted to work with teens who could be vulnerable like I had been.
Can I give you one before we get into some calls? So a friend of mine, a 15-year-old boy, he had two mates sleep over while the parents went out. They stayed in the city. They had a staycation in the city. So the kids had the house to themselves. They get home on the Sunday. Mum throws out the bin, goes through the bin, down the bottom, finds 4 vodka mixes. And she's freaking out. So this is our conversation in our friendship group at the moment. How do you handle this situation?
All right. The very first thing that happens when they do something that we think is potentially dangerous and not what we want them to do is we get angry. Second reaction, we're going to panic. Yep. Or the third reaction was go into denial. Now, none of those help. Have a conversation with that boy around what you found. And that's exactly why I wrote scripts, because I know how to communicate with teens who've mucked up. Yep. So we're going to have a chat about, look, I get that, and I know that this is what we're going to do if our friends are around. I just want us to have a conversation about what are the things we need to worry about alcohol. And, I've consulted one of the best experts in Australia around that, Paul Dillon. He has some clear guidelines that we know they're going to go experimenting, but if they actually have some carbs before they go, they have a drink of water in between, they keep their eye out on whether any of their friends are getting into it. They won't watch themselves. They'll watch their friends.
Gotcha.
And when we get them to be a guardian of their friends, they're actually watching themselves.
Yeah.
And we've had kids who've reached out years and years later, because I talked about an alcoholic coma, you've got to put it in a recovery position, call the ambulance. I've had a number of them reach out and tell me they've saved a life because of that one piece of information. So it's what we do and then that's what we're doing. We cannot make their decisions for them. They're an emerging adult.
Yeah, and withholding information doesn't help them either.
Does not help them.
That's one of the big things. The education will help.
We have so many calls coming through, Mag. We've got Kelly in Windsor. Kelly, you're online with Maggie Dent with your question.
I was just wanting to get some help with navigating through the teenage years when they start to sort of, disrespect their parents.
Let me give you a really big tip about this, and that is the fact that they're meant to be individuating from you and stepping back from you, and they're biologically wired to want to hang out with peers and friends, because if we were in a kinship community, then they've got to create a new source of breeding. So I know it's a reason. Now, the disrespect stuff, that can also come from a whole lot of reasons, but one of the key reasons is that we're overly invested still. We're treating them like a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old, and they're now an emerging adult, so you're really pissing them off, right? So what we're going to do every now and then when that comes out, and sometimes it comes out because I've got home and I've been fantastic all day, but now I'm really annoyed at the world, and I'm going to give the person I love the most a bit of that. Yep. So sometimes it's targeted at mum. So sometimes that's actually a gift that you're their safest person. But what I really encourage is every now and then pop your hands up in the air and go, whoa, I'm not sure you meant to say that like that. Hey? And make light around it. Because if you come swinging in with, you're not to talk to me like that, that's disrespectful. You're going to make it worse. You're going to make them angry. You're going to make them defensive. Then they're going to feel worse than they already felt. And we don't want that, right?
So Max, the stern voice of a father, and we've always been taught that you don't talk to your mother like that.
That's not going to do any harm.
That's not going to do anything?
No. As long as it's not too often and it's said not super nasty, it just says, mate, we don't talk to your mum like that.
Yeah, and they know, the kids know.
They do know.
Straight away.
And then you walk away.
Using the word we is kind of nice as well. It could, because even when I hear you say that, it's like we as a household have made this decision.
Yes.
Not you don't talk to your mother like that, but I'll talk to her however I like.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay,
beautiful.
Gotcha. What about getting mum to cry then? That's always powerful as well. It's always powerful, Maggie. I'll go, BJ, put on the waterworks.
A crying mother does wonders.
She's putting drops in her eyes and the kids can't work out what's going on.
Can I just say I wouldn't recommend it?
No.
Because they can smell a rat and they know it's BS, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing. Be as real and authentic as you can be in this journey, because they're working out how to deal with conflict, how to communicate. And I think that's why I did the whole stuff of the big stuff at the back, because 9 times out of 10, you're just dealing with the same sorts of stuff a toddler did, just wanting to do their own thing and disagreeing with you. That's healthy.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, all their grades have dropped. What do I do? I've just found the bong in the bedroom. What do I do? I found the used condom. What do I do then? Instead of going really angry and going into lecture, I've got to work out how do I come alongside them, because I want them to work out what the challenge is with this and how are they going to navigate through it so that they can become an adult and deal with hard stuff without necessarily mum and dad rescuing.
Come out the other side.
Yeah.
Ruby in Mona Vale, you've got the magnificent Maggie Dent. She's all yours, Rubes.
Hi.
Hi.
I just had a quick question about my 7-year-old who's really not interested in doing any extracurricular sport or activities after school. So I was just wanting to know, should we keep pushing or just let it go?
So what does he love doing after school?
We're just like coming home, relaxing in front of the TV, not doing much.
Guess what? We have kind of different temperaments, and he's a cruiser. He sounds like a bit more like a lamb. He doesn't have high energy.
Yeah.
He's not going to want out there and conquer the world. So in that space, I'm just glad you didn't say he's online gaming, because that would have been a little bit of a worry.
No.
But he's coming home and, like school's big for him still. He's only 7 and he's still getting the energy to deal with it. What he's doing is exactly what he needs to do, but work out what is a special interest for him. Can you get him into something that's lower energy, even if it's puzzles or it's building Lego or it's doing something that's quieter.
A little bit more active.
Yeah, so he's still building his perception of competence. He can do some things good, and just love him that you're allowing him to recover from a really overcrowded schooling system and he's only 7. Well done, you.
Yeah, it's a lot for them.
Well
All
done.
right, thank you so much.
Rubes.
Jake in Blacktown, you're a dad of 4. You got Maggie Dent, Jake?
Hey, I'm just wondering, how do you get kids to follow instructions without getting distracted? Because my kids, as soon as you ask them to do something, it's 3 or 4 times and you raise your voice and then they do it.
Yeah, okay. So, because they've learnt that's how you do it in your house, isn't it? That they're going to wait till Dad gets to a higher level and then we're going to step in, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things we know is that nobody likes being told what to do either, so make sure it's a request. So there's and sometimes a bit of autonomy in the request. So it says, hey, mate, I want you to pick up that Lego because we're going to walk on it, but you can do it now or after you've done your teeth.
Yep.
But it gives him a choice of when to do it. It actually increases the chances of them completing it.
Yeah, right.
And the second thing is come alongside them. We call it connect before you direct. So you come alongside them, you ruffle their head and go, hey, your turn to do the dishwasher. Got it? Bang. There we go. I connect with you, then I give you a message.
Gotcha.
And then we step back. And then it takes a while, because if you start doing something different, they're going to smell a rat. They're going to go, what have you been listening to some program or reading a book? And you go, because, I don't like shouting and I don't always repeating myself. And then not sure of the ages of your kids, but I often think a visual thing on the fridge is a good idea. Like, what do you do in the mornings? Get up, eat your breakfast, do your teeth, get dressed, stick your lunchbox in the bag. If you've got boys, that's really handy. You won't need it for girls. They're just testing you. Yeah. Really, absolutely.
What about the countdown, Maggie? I've done the countdown a couple of times. 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, but then you get to 0 and you don't, at least when I was a kid and Mum got to 0, we were in real trouble. Whereas now
I'm
you
going to
just
say
counted.
it can have a short-term compliance. It's a bit like threats. They can short-term compliance, but it doesn't create cooperation. And we want cooperation with our kids. I know it's hard to get these things done, right? However, it is your turn, and then be a bit lighthearted about it, like, fart or something if it's a boy.
Why not? Or a girl.
Yeah, or a girl. They don't tend to like it as much.
That's Kate's tactic at home.
Yeah, that's me. Mad for it.
She does that in the office.
Just finally get Tommy to do something around here.
Maggie, can I also say, I just wanted to say thank you before you go, because I know you're busy, for supporting 36 months. And when we launched, we needed some credibility behind us, and Maggie has been phenomenal in putting her hand up, and the constant emails and the reading that I've been able, and the knowledge I've been able to gain with your support behind it. So thank you so much.
We've got to stop the harm for our teens. It's just enormous. That's it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Just because this is your last book, don't think you're getting away, though.
Yeah, I know.
No, you're back in, Maggie.
We can set up a spare bedroom near the studio. Whenever you're in Sydney, Maggie, just pop in. You've got a place to stay.
I'd love to come back, guys. Love chatting to you.
Don't be a stranger.
Pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
She's a superstar. Help me help my teens. Supporting teens through tough times is available now. Maggie, thank you so much again.
You know, we ticked off a couple of sensitive topics, so if you do need help at all, that Lifeline number is 13 11 14. Very simple. Give them a call.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.